Hey everyone, in this video we will talk about the Power Query function group. So essentially this is more like a checklist and not a practical video. So we'll just go through what are the options available in terms of the Power BI functions groups and what are the options available with those. So we'll just run through those. Let's start. So the first one is data source functions in Power Query. So these functions are used to connect to and import data from various sources. So for example, with Excel.workbook, you can point to an Excel file and then choose a specific workbook in that file and extract data from that file. So that's one of the options. Then there is the folder.file function. So it's to get data from a particular folder. To get data from a CSV file, you've got CSV document. To get data from a JSON file, you've got JSON.document. Then there are some data transformation functions like, you want to sort data, or you want to get distinct data, or you want to add specific column or rename columns. So these are, you want to transpose your data, or maybe you want to split columns based on maybe a hyphen or something like a comma. So these are the transformation functions that are available to you. Then we're going to look at the column operations, and some of these functions could essentially overlap. So something which falls under part of one function group could also fall under another function group. And then, so Power Query provides functions for working with columns. So these are like maybe you want to rename a column or remove a column or replace value in a column. So these are column operation functions available via Power Query. Then there are text functions. So maybe you want to trim at the beginning any empty spaces, or at the end. Maybe you want to convert a text to a lowercase, or maybe you want to convert it to an uppercase. Maybe you want to find the length of a string. So these are the text functions. And remember, this is like a smaller list, and you can specifically explore and go through them. But I'm just giving you the options and the function groups which are available with Power Query. Then we've got the numeric functions. So you want to convert. So from text you want to convert to a number, or number to text. You want to round a number. You want to create a ceiling. So maybe 3.6 gets converted to a 4. And 3.6 gets converted to a 3 when you use number.floor. Then the mod, power, and absolute value. So you want to get the absolute value, maybe -1. So the absolute value is 1. So that's a numeric function. Then there are date and time functions available as well. So you can have a date from and to text. You can have add days to a date. You can add months to a date. You can get the day from a date. You can get the month from a date. You can get the year from a date. Then there's conditional logic. So you can go through and say you can use an if then else and build a conditional logic function in Power Query. So you've got a custom function, but you can write your custom function. You can use some form of transforms available. So these options are available with Power Query. Then you have got aggregation functions. So for those of you coming from a SQL world, you could group. So you could have count of rows, or you could have the sum of sales amount by maybe country or product description or something else. So that's an option that's available. Join and merge functions in Power Query. So you've got join, you've got nested join, append, expand table, buffer. So these, like for example, buffer is a great function where you can bring all the data into memory. You might want to append, so one data set on top of another. You could merge two data sets. So from some of you coming from a SQL world, that's like a join. So table.join. Append is like it's like a union clause. So you do that. Merge is when you're extending a data set by joining two tables. So these options are available in Power Query. Just wanted to call them out here. Then there are table functions. So you've seen them in the transform tab as well. Like they were mentioned under transform functions, but they're also under table functions. For example, table.rename columns, remove columns, sort based on a certain column. So these are some of the table level functions which are available with Power Query, and you can explore them as you go along. And then error handling. So these functions help you handle errors that may occur during data transformation, such as replacing errors. So you can use a try catch block, and based on the output you can use a try catch otherwise. So you can replace error value in a table by saying, hey, if this is the error, I want this to be the value. So as I already pointed out, try, otherwise, and finally. So that's one way. So this is an example of error handling functions available in Power Query. Then there are advanced query techniques, and they don't necessarily fall under any functions, but it's good to be aware of them. So you can parameterize your queries. So based on a parameter value, you can filter the values in a table, or you can have a parameter which points to different, so maybe dev, test, and prod. So you want to set something like that. You parameterize your queries. Then there are custom functions. You can write them and call those custom functions. Error handling, you can put in specific error handling. So just to make your ETL more robust. You can put in conditional logic. You can use advanced join techniques I already mentioned, like merge and append. You can use advanced filtering. You can use grouping and aggregation. You can use advanced text processing. You can write your own M code if you're versatile with it. I normally don't recommend it for beginners because you can end up impacting the query. So I would recommend always duplicating your query before you go down this route. And then you can have subqueries. So these are some of the advanced query techniques, and I'm just calling them out as a checklist. So you're aware of them, and as you go along your journey, you can build on some Lego blocks and say, hey, I could probably explore with this option, or there's a table function, or maybe just search for those specific table functions in Power Query. So I hope you find this video useful. The purpose of this is to give you more of a checklist than a practical video. And I think thanks for watching it. I hope it helps you. Cheers, bye.